peluang saya. Jadi daripada situlah saya memilih untuk bekerjasama dengan Politeknik.
Kita fikirkan satu material tahan lama dan lasak. Jadi kami fikirkan steel plate ataupun kepingan besi dengan ketebalan 4 mm untuk menggantikan papan lapis yang digunakan sedia ada ni lah.
Sewaktu saya membuat desain, saya membuat beberapa percubaan. Di mana percubaan pertama dengan keadaan saiz yang agak kecil supaya dia mudah diangkat di tapak. Tetapi apabila kita buat perkiraan melalui estim dan juga manual, kita dapati bahawa saiz tersebut tidak dapat menampung beban dan ia mengalami kegagalan. Saya tambahkan lagi lebar dan juga ketinggian struktur tersebut, dan saya letakkan ciri-ciri keselamatan dengan penambahan struktur peluli di dalamnya dengan agak lebih besar, barulah dia selamat. So 3 kali percubaan barulah kita menghasilkan satu ringka bentuk yang kita rasa selamat untuk diguna pakai di tapak bina.
Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Selamat datang ke PPRN 2.0 at UM. Sebelum majlis dimulakan, sukacita dimaklumkan bahawa maklum balas daripada para hadirin adalah amat dialu-alukan. Borang maklum balas boleh didapati dengan mengimbas QR code yang dipaparkan di skrin lebar kelak dan juga di sekitar dewan ini. Hadirin yang dihormati, diharap dapat mengambil perhatian. Sekiranya berlaku sebarang kecemasan, para hadirin diminta agar tidak cemas, bertenang dan mengikut arahan pegawai yang bertugas. Panduan mengenai langkah keselamatan akan ditayangkan selepas ini.
Taklimat Keselamatan Dewan Tunku Chancellor. Selamat datang ke Universiti Malaya. Universiti Malaya meletakkan keutamaan yang tinggi terhadap keselamatan dan kesihatan anda. Anda kini sedang berada di Dewan Tunku Chancellor Universiti Malaya yang diwartakan sebagai bangunan warisan negara pada 14 Februari 2009. Bagi makluman semua, Dewan ini mempunyai 2 aras. Dewan ini dilengkapi sepenuhnya dengan sistem kawalan keselamatan bagi menangani sebarang kecemasan. Sila tumpukan perhatian anda kerana berikut merupakan panduan sekiranya berlaku sebarang kecemasan di dalam Dewan ini. Sekiranya terdapat penggera kecemasan berbunyi panjang seperti berikut. Anda diminta untuk bertenang. Duduk di tempat masing-masing dan tunggu arahan yang diberikan. Sila beri keutamaan kepada warga emas, orang kurang upaya dan wanita mengandung. Sekiranya anda berada di atas pentas, sila guna pintu kecemasan di kiri dan kanan untuk menuju ke tempat berkumpul kecemasan. Sekiranya anda berada di sebelah kanan Dewan, sila gunakan pintu kecemasan yang berada di sebelah kanan untuk menuju ke tempat berkumpul kecemasan. Sekiranya anda berada di sebelah kiri Dewan, sila guna pintu kecemasan yang berada di sebelah kiri untuk menuju ke tempat berkumpul kecemasan. Sekiranya anda berada di aras atas, sila guna pintu kecemasan yang berada di sebelah kiri dan kanan dan turun mengikut tangga yang berdekatan menuju ke tempat berkumpul kecemasan. Sekiranya anda berada di ruang legar Dewan, sila guna pintu kecemasan di laluan masuk utama Dewan untuk menuju ke tempat berkumpul kecemasan. Anda diminta untuk bergerak ke tempat berkumpul kecemasan di hadapan Dewan Tunku Chancellor. Tunggu arahan selanjutnya daripada pegawai keselamatan dan kaki tangan yang bertugas. Semoga taklimat ini memberi manfaat kepada semua yang hadir. Terima kasih di atas perhatian anda.
perhatian kepada rakan industri, agensi dan kementerian kerajaan. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan adalah dijemput termasuk semua peserta di dalam dewan ini untuk memenuhkan ruangan tempat duduk pada masa perasmian dilaksanakan sebentar lagi. Terima kasih. Para hadirin adalah diminta untuk berdiri. Mengumumkan ketibaan yang berusaha Profesor Insinyur Dr. Shaliza Ibrahim, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi Universiti Malaya, dan yang berusaha Profesor Insinyur Dr. Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Pembangunan, serta diiringi oleh yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Chai Lei Ching dan yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Ivy Chung selaku pengerusi bersama PPRN 2.0 UM. Hadirin diminta untuk berdiri bagi menyanyikan lagu Negaraku. Dipersilakan duduk. Yang berusaha Profesor Insinyur Dr. Shalizai Ibrahim, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi. Yang berusaha Profesor Insinyur Dr. Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Pembangunan. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Chai Lei Ching. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Ivy Chung selaku pengerusi bersama PPRN 2.0 UM serta para hadirin yang dihormati sekalian. Mencari timba si anak dara di bawah sarang burung tempua. Salam sembah pembuka bicara. Selamat datang untuk semua. Selamat datang diucapkan kepada para hadirin ke Majlis Perasmian Taklimat dan Mini Showcase Public-Private Research Network PPRN 2.0 UM bagi Zon Tengah Malaysia. Bagi memohon keberkatan majlis, dijemput Encik Muhammad Shazril Nazwan bin Muhammad Yassin, penolong pendaftar dari Pusat Pengajian Pembangunan Ungku Aziz untuk membacakan doa. Dipersilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami berhimpun pada hari yang mulia ini bagi menyatakan setinggi-tinggi kesyukuran atas segala rahmat, hidayah dan nikmat yang telah Engkau limpahkan ke atas kami. Ya Allah, ya Rahman, ya Rahim, kami menadah tangan memohon kehadrat-Mu ya Allah agar Engkau memberkati program taklimat dan mini showcase Public Private Research Network 2022 Zon Tengah Universiti Malaya pada hari ini. Kami memohon inayah dan taufik-Mu. Kurniakanlah kesejahteraan dan kebahagiaan serta kesihatan yang baik kepada kami. Bukakanlah hati-hati kami, lapangkanlah dada kami untuk menerima segala ilmu pengetahuan serta bimbingan yang dicurahkan ke atas kami. Allahumma ij'al jam'ana hadza jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'al fina wa la ma'ana syaqiyyan wa la matrudan wa la mahruma. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Terima kasih Saudara Shazril atas bacaan doa itu tadi. Kalau pergi ke Tanjung Keramat, kenangan Kandis pasti terpahat. Bersama kita memohon rahmat, moga majlis mendapat berkat. Para hadirin sekalian, majlis diteruskan dengan ucapan perasmian oleh Yang Berusaha Profesor Insinyur Dr. Shalizai Ibrahim, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi. Dipersilakan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Terima kasih kepada saudari pengerusi majlis yang saya alu-alukan Yang berusaha Profesor Engineer Dr. Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahman, Timbalan Naib Chancellor Pembangunan. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Chai Lei Ching, Pengarah Pusat Perkhidmatan Penyelidikan PPP. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Ivy Chung, Pengarah Pusat Inovasi dan Perusahaan selaku pengerusi bersama PPRN 2.0 @UM. Para pengurusan universiti, dekan, timbalan dekan, pengarah, timbalan pengarah, akademi, fakulti pusat, wakil-wakil pihak agensi kerajaan, wakil dari universiti awam dan swasta, pihak industri, tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sidang hadirin yang saya hormati sekalian. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. Alhamdulillah, saya melafazkan rasa syukur kepada Allah SWT kerana dengan rahmatnya program taklimat dan mini showcase Public Private Research Network PPRN 2.0 Zon Tengah Malaysia dapat dilaksanakan di Dewan Tunku Chancellor yang bersejarah ini. Semangat perkongsian pintar awam swasta yang kini telah menjangkau inisiatif penyelidikan dan inovasi bukanlah sesuatu yang baru buat kita. Seawal 1981 lagi, Kerajaan Persekutuan telah menyediakan satu kerangka rasmi bagi memandu strategi dan inisiatif kerjasama awam swasta melalui pengenalan dasar pensyarikatan Malaysia. Dalam konteks evolusi dan sinergi tersebut pada hari ini, universiti dan institusi penyelidikan awam swasta turut berperanan penting dalam mewujudkan ekosistem perkongsian pintar dengan komuniti industri dan perniagaan secara lestari. Inisiatif PPRN ini menyediakan ruang kepada universiti awam dan swasta untuk memainkan peranan yang lebih signifikan dalam konteks rangsangan ekonomi melalui khidmat runding cara teknikal dengan mengambil kira faktor dasar semasa kerajaan dan produktiviti industri serta perniagaan. Public-Private Research Network atau dikenali sebagai PPRN juga merupakan satu inisiatif inovatif Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi bagi menggalakkan program inovasi yang berasaskan permintaan dan memacu peningkatan produktiviti serta mengukuhkan pembangunan ekonomi Malaysia sejak dari tahun 2015 hingga kini. Program ini menyasarkan inovasi produk bagi menambah baik atau menambah nilai produk sedia ada industri terutama yang berasaskan teknologi atau ke arah pensijilan. Selain itu, program ini juga bertujuan menambah baik proses pengeluaran produk, komponen sumber, gudang, logistik, kaedah penghantaran atau perkhidmatan. Objektif berkonsepkan knowledge-friendly ecosystem, PPRN berusaha untuk memperkasa hubungan jaringan awam swasta melalui penyediaan penyelesaian daripada pihak IPT dan PRI kepada industri. Inisiatif ini dirangka demi meningkatkan produktiviti melalui inovasi dan teknologi yang bersesuaian serta menggalakkan penyertaan untuk memberi penyelesaian berasaskan permintaan industri. Untuk makluman semua, PPRN yang dilancarkan pada tahun 2015 telah dijenamakan semula sebagai PPRN 2.0 dengan beberapa penambahbaikan prosedur dan mekanisme sedia ada yang mana program promosi PPRN 2.0 adalah sebagai inisiatif menghebahkan mekanisme baru di kalangan pemegang taruh. Justru itu, saya berterima kasih kepada pihak Kementerian Pendidikan Tinggi KPT kerana telah memberi kepercayaan kepada Universiti Malaya bagi merancang dan melaksanakan program taklimat dan mini showcase PPRN 2.0 yang julung kali diadakan ini. Penganjuran program ini amat bermakna dan bermanfaat kerana ia memberi sumbangan yang besar dalam menghebahkan maklumat berkenaan PPRN kepada seluruh warga di institusi pengajian tinggi. Semoga program seumpama ini akan terus dilaksanakan pada tahun-tahun mendatang dan agar kesinambungan dan momentum akan berterusan dan ianya menjadi acara yang ditunggu-tunggu untuk dihadiri oleh semua pihak. Melalui program ini, peserta akan memperoleh maklumat berkenaan inisiatif PPRN 2.0 dari segi latar belakang, manfaat, cara memohon dan sebagainya. Selain itu, terdapat juga perkongsian success stories yang melibatkan seramai 6 orang panel dalam kalangan ketua projek dan pihak industri. Program ini juga mendapat perkongsian berkenaan pelaksanaan projek PPRN 2.0 yang akan diadakan oleh yang berusaha Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah Wan Omar, iaitu Timbalan Setiausaha Bahagian Seksyen Penyelidikan dan PPRN, KPT. Di samping itu juga program PPRN 2.0 ini turut menyediakan sebanyak 23 pameran penyelidikan dalam dewan ini. Justru program seperti ini diharapkan program yang berlangsung pada hari ini dapat memberi manfaat kepada peserta yang hadir. Untuk makluman hadirin sekalian, Universiti Malaya melalui Institut Pengurusan dan Perkhidmatan Penyelidikan IPPP telah diberikan kelulusan Institut Penyelidikan yang diluluskan di bawah Seksyen 34B ACP 1967 mulai 4 Mei 2019. Dengan kelulusan ini, setiap syarikat organisasi yang memberi sumbangan wang tunai atau bayaran perkhidmatan kepada IPPP untuk tujuan penyelidikan dan kemajuan selagi memenuhi syarat yang ditetapkan oleh Kementerian Keuangan adalah layak memohon potongan cukai 2 kali ke atas perbelanjaan tersebut. Saya menyeru supaya pihak industri dapat mengambil peluang dan ruang yang ada ini untuk menyumbang dan berkolaborasi dalam bidang penyelidikan dengan UM bagi mendapat faedah dan nilai tambah kepada organisasi masing-masing. Sekali lagi, saya merakamkan ucapan tahniah dan syabas kepada Jawatankuasa Program Universiti Malaya selaku tuan rumah dengan kerjasama pihak PPRN, KPT di atas penganjuran program taklimat dan mini showcase Public Private Research Network PPRN 2.0 Zon Tengah Malaysia yang berprestij ini dan yang julung kali diadakan secara hybrid. Terima kasih juga saya ucapkan kepada para penyelidik di institusi pengajian tinggi, agensi kerajaan dan pihak industri yang telah menyumbang idea serta bakti sepanjang PPRN ini ditubuhkan. Dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, saya dengan ini merasmikan program taklimat dan mini showcase Public Private Research Network PPRN 2.0 Zon Tengah Malaysia. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Demikianlah tadi ucapan aluan dan perasmian oleh Yang Berusaha Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi UM. Dimohon Prof. Shaliza untuk terus kekal berada di atas pentas. Kini tibalah masa yang ditunggu-tunggu, iaitu gimmick Perasmian Taklimat dan mini showcase Public Private Research Network PPRN 2.0 at UM bagi Zon Tengah Malaysia. Dengan itu, majlis mempersilakan Yang Berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Chai Lei Ching dan Yang Berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Ivy Chung untuk naik ke pentas untuk turut bersama Yang Berusaha Profesor Engineer Dr. Shaliza bagi upacara gimmick perasmian. Majlis mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada Yang Berusaha Profesor Shaliza Ibrahim atas perasmian itu tadi dan dipersilakan kembali ke tempat duduk. Video perasmian PPRN 2.0 itu tadi memaparkan antara projek penyelidikan PPRN yang berjaya dari tahun 2015 bagi Zon Tengah Malaysia. Dengan ini berakhirlah Majlis Perasmian Taklimat dan Mini Showcase Public-Private Research Network PPRN 2.0 at UM bagi Zon Tengah Malaysia pada hari ini. Dengan ini merakamkan ucapan ribuan terima kasih kepada Yang Berusaha Profesor Engineer Dr. Shaliza Ibrahim kerana sudi hadir ke majlis kita pada pagi ini. Sebelum beredar, para hadirin diminta untuk kekal berada di tempat duduk bagi sesi bergambar yang akan dipimpin oleh Encik Lad dari Pejabat Komunikasi Korporat. Encik Lad dipersilakan mengambil tempat. Terima kasih hadirin di atas sesi tersebut. Dengan ini, majlis menjemput Yang Berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Chai dan Yang Berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Ivy Chung untuk sama-sama mengiringi Yang Berusaha Engineer Dr. Shaliza Ibrahim serta Yang Berusaha Profesor Engineer Profesor Dr. Abdul Aziz Abdul Rahman serta para tetamu untuk melawat booth pameran dan seterusnya untuk sesi minum pagi di bilik anjung. Para hadirin diminta untuk tidak meninggalkan dewan kerana majlis akan diteruskan dengan taklimat PPRN yang akan disampaikan oleh Yang Berusaha Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah binti Wan Omar pada jam 10 pagi. Sekian wabillahi taufik warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih. VIP tu siapa? VIP dekat-dekat ni. Tapi tak ada orang jemput dekat. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera para hadirin yang masih bersama kita di dalam Dewan pada pagi ini. Kita ingin menjemput para hadirin untuk bersama kita di dalam sesi seterusnya. Untuk majlis ini yang akan diteruskan dengan sesi taklimat PPRN. Sesi ini juga boleh diikuti secara maya melalui Facebook PPRN dan YouTube serta akaun Facebook Universiti Malaya yang akan disampaikan oleh Yang Berusaha Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah binti Wan Omar, Timbalan Setiausaha Bahagian, Seksyen Penyelidikan dan PPRN, Bahagian Perancangan dan Penyelidikan Dasar KPT. Dipersilakan Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat pagi. Terima kasih kerana menyertai program PPRN ya kali ini dianjurkan oleh UM. Sebelum tu, let me just do the greetings ya. Yang berbahagia Profesor Insinyur Dr. Shaliza Ibrahim. I hope she is here. I'm not so sure because I'm online, but Timbalan Naib Chancellor Penyelidikan dan Inovasi. So I think she has also has been with me in other programs too. Thank you for opening the program earlier this morning. Profesor Madya Dr. Chai Lei Ching ya, Ketua Pusat Perkhidmatan Penyelidikan ya, PPP, merangkap pengerusi bersama PPRN 2.0 at UM. Thank you Prof. And also Prof Madya Dr. Ivy Chung, Pengarah Universiti Malaya Center of Innovation and Enterprise. UMCIE merangkap pengerusi bersama PPRN 2.0 at UM. Thank you to the team that have been very diligent and hard work that you have invested in this program. I appreciate it very much that UM has taken this effort to organize the program for PPRN. Let me just share with you the slides that I have prepared. I hope you can see it on the screen right now. Let me just put it on slideshow. Recently, we have opened the application for the first phase earlier this year. And then we received a lot of application from the universities and also from the Public Research Institute. I think for this program, we are concentrating on the central region. So basically, those who have applied, I think UM applied for 5 projects. The Department of Polytechnics and Community Colleges, they sent in about 22 applications. Nottingham University 1 application, Inti College 2 applications, UITM 10, FRIM sent in 1 application, UTM 4 applications, International Islamic University 3, University of Pahang. I don't know whether they are in Central Region or the East Coast region, but they sent in 4 applications. UPM sent in 9 applications. USIM 2, University Technical Melaka 5, UKM 3, Monash U 3, and Xiamen University 1. I would like to thank all the universities and the research institute for your interest in applying to PPRN and applying for the grants. Okay, so for my presentation, I would like to cover a few areas. I would like to go and share the background and the objectives of PPRN 2.0. The areas that we cover, one of the success stories in PPRN, and then about the matching grants that we are offering, the size, contributions amount, and the maximum amount. And then other aspects like the criteria, the criteria of the companies, the criteria of the researchers, the process, portal system, and the Facebook that we recently launched on the 21st of February this year, just recently launched. Okay, the background of PPRN. We actually started PPRN in 2015, a very long time ago. And then for the first PPRN 1.0, the ministry matched the partners. That means the companies came to us with a certain company problems, and then we match it with the expertise at the universities. But after we did an impact study by consultant, we found that we would like to improve it by letting the companies choose the experts from the higher education institutions, or the higher education institutions can also choose the companies that they would like to work with. So I think finding the right match will depend very much on whether they have the harmony to work together. So that contributes to the success of the project. So it is an innovative initiative by the Ministry of Higher Education to encourage demand-based innovation programs. And then the aim is to drive and increase the company's productivity and strength, and strengthen the Malaysian economic development. So the aim of solving the industry's problem is to enable the productivity to be increased. And then the government provides the matching grant, the grants to support the cost of the project through the Ministry of Higher Education. So the government supports the development of the demand-driven innovation projects. Okay, so the objectives of the PPRN is basically to strengthen the public-private networking through higher education institutions and public research institutions, by providing solutions to the industries. As we know, these institutions, be it universities or the research institutions, they have certain expertise that could benefit the industries if they work together to solve the problems faced by the industries. So by doing so, they will the project will be able to increase the productivity through innovations or appropriate technology. So we also would like to encourage the participation of researchers to provide solutions based on the industry demand. So actually this is a win-win collaboration, because even though the aim is to solve the industry problems, but in doing so, I think the researchers at the higher education institutions and also the students, the lecturers and the students will be able to experience the real situation, the real problems faced by the industries. This will enhance their skills and their outlook, and will contribute to the way they portray themselves to the industries. Okay. If you look at these projects, PPRN projects, this is very much aligned to the government policies For example, if you look at the Shared Prosperity Vision 2030, one of the guiding principles of the SPV is it is focusing on needs-based approach economy. And also one of the enablers is effective institutional delivery. So delivery here means the higher education institutions and public research institutes. What they do is they serve the community at large. That means which also include the industries. In doing so, they will help the industries to enhance their productivity. If you look at the research done by Malaysia Digital SME Study in 2018 by SME Corp Malaysia and Huawei Technologies, Sdn Berhad, they found that the SME's technology adoption will result in increased productivity by 60%, which is a lot. So I hope the industries can take this opportunity to work with our experts at the universities. Particularly here we have UM, and I was also informed that other universities are also here to support PPRN. Thank you very much. So this is stated in the Shared Prosperity Vision document. So I hope you can go through it and take up this opportunity. Okay, next. This PPRN project is also aligned with the 12th Malaysia Plan, particularly in priority area 1, accelerating the development of strategic and high impact industries and boosting the capabilities of entrepreneurs and enterprises. If you look at the key performance indicators in the 12th Malaysia Plan, it is expected that 45% will be the contribution of the micro, small, and medium enterprises to GDP, and also the 25% is expected to be the contribution of MSMEs to the total exports. The outcome expected from the implementation of these strategies would contribute towards inclusive and responsible, sustainable socio-economic development, business growth in all sectors, which include also the contribution of MSMEs. All right. So I hope you can look at also the areas of that PPRN covers, which is actually the main economic sectors, manufacturing, services, agriculture, construction, mining, and quarrying. Okay, and this is also aligned with KEGA. What is KEGA? KEGA is the areas covered in the Shared Prosperity Vision. It is defined as a future economic activity that demonstrates the potential for rapid growth in line with the country's aspiration to achieve high-value economic development. So this KEGA has identified certain areas that perhaps the states in Malaysia could concentrate on when they do their economic activities. Okay, let's look at the success stories of PPRN. One of the success stories, of course, there are many success stories. You can also look at the showcase prepared by UM at the site right now. Or you can also go online and look at the videos of PPRN success stories. So one of the success stories here is about a project, collaboration between UTEM and also Hasil Laut Pasu is one of the companies that collaborate in a project where the outcome of the project is the increased number of products. So in the beginning, the problem that they faced was that they needed 2 workers, which could process 70 to 100 kg per day of fish, which was equivalent to about 3 tons per month. So in order to enhance their productivity, they collaborated with UTEM and then they developed an automatic fish fillet machine, yeah, that could process about 30 fish per minute. Yeah, so the result of the process, after they have finished the project, they come up with a machine. Yeah, so that machine helped the company to enhance or increase their productivity from 3 tons, of fish to 11 tons of fish per month, yeah, which is quite a lot. Yeah, and apart from that, they found that the process using the machine was also very hygienic and safe, and then they could measure the size, yeah, of the catfish, which is more accurate, yeah, compared to human or manually cutting the fish. So this is one of the outcome or output of the projects that we are looking for, when PPRN project has finished. Okay, all right. So the project scopes, there are two parts. Two categories. One, it could be a product innovation, or it also could be process innovation. Yeah, for product innovation, the aim is to enhance or improve the existing products. Yeah, and then for innovation, process innovation, it looks at whether the project will be able to enhance or improve the production process, the resource components, logistics, transportation methods, services, etc. Mainly through the fourth industrial revolution technology. So by injecting technology, as such, the process will be more efficient. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the matching grants. We categorize the companies according to micro, small, medium, and large. Yeah? And then the companies that are categorized as a micro, because this is a matching grant between the government and the companies will have to contribute about 10%. While PPRN or the government will contribute 19% towards the cost of the project. So during the application, they will be able to apply for up to 50,000 ringgit of grants. Yeah, the combined contributions will be up to 50,000 ringgit. For small companies, the company will have to bear about 30% of the cost, and the government will bear about 70%, while medium-sized companies will bear about 50% of the cost. The government will bear up to 50% as well, and then the total maximum grant will be up to 250,000 ringgit. For large companies, because they have more revenue, they will bear about 70% of the cost of the projects, while the government will bear about 30% of the cost, amounting to up to 350,000 ringgit, 350,000 ringgit. Yeah. So this is the model that we use for the contributions of the okay, the criteria for the companies that would like to collaborate with our institutions, higher education institutions and public research institutes. It opens to all companies and businesses that are registered with the Companies Commission of Malaysia, or SSM, or for businesses in Sabah and Sarawak, they need to be registered with the local authority. And then for the annual sales turnover of more than Ringgit Malaysia 100,000 with proof of the company's latest 6-month bank statement for businesses, or audited account for companies for at least 3 years. This is to ensure that the companies are stable and can be in the project for at least 6 months to up to 1 year. And also the companies must demonstrate their performance, that the company has been evaluated by and any agencies or platforms such as SME Corporation Malaysia, SME Corp, or Perbadanan Usahawan Nasional Berhad PUNB, or Malaysia Technology Development Corporation MTDC, Standards and Industrial Research Institute of Malaysia STIRIM, Malaysia Amanah Rakyat MARA, Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation MDEC, or Malaysian Industry Government Group of Higher Technology MIC, or other equivalent agencies. So the evidence of performance appraisal should be included while applying for the PPRN grant. So and also they must show that they are in the category of competitive and viable companies. Okay, other than that, the company must have a business premise, registered with the local authority or an incubator center registered with the agency. Okay, and about more than 51% of the ownership is owned by Malaysian citizens. Previously we asked for Form 24, but now I think they have changed perhaps to Section 14 documents. But this I think we need to recheck this part. But I think we were informed by the companies previously that the form has changed. But basically what we want is the information about the companies. And then or we want SSM certificate containing director information and shareholder information for companies incorporated under the Companies Act 2016. So other than that, the company must also be in operation for at least 1 year. Okay. Another criteria that we look for is that the products or services to be improved or added value under PPRN initiative must be on the market or offered for at least 1 year. So that means the company has been selling the product or the services for up at least 1 year. And then they found that maybe they got feedback from their clients or customers that they want it to be improved. Maybe the shelf life of the food that they sell does not last that long, and they want to improve the shelf life, or they want to improve the services to make it faster, cleaner, or whatever. So these products or services must also be sold for at least 1 year. Okay, and then the companies that have received PPRN funds must wait at least 1 year from the existing PPRN funds received to expire before making a new application. We found that thankfully companies that have worked with our institutions in PPRN projects, they sometimes love it so much that they would like to apply for another round of PPRN project. But they, in order to give more opportunities for the other companies, we put it in our guidelines that they have to wait for at least 1 year. And then for the higher education institutions or public research institute that have startup or spin-off companies, they cannot collaborate with researchers under the same higher education institutions and public research institutes. So they have to find other higher institutions if they want to collaborate. Okay, this is to ensure that there is no conflict of interest. Okay, researchers some of the criteria that they have to meet is that one of them would be the applications are open to all higher education institutions and public research institute researchers. So anybody can apply for it. Okay, the head researcher is a permanent or full-time contract employee. That is for private higher education institutions. I think this is also applicable to public higher education, because nowadays there can be a number of contract researchers as well. But for the researchers, not the head, they can be permanent or they can be contract, but not necessarily full time. And then the period of service for the lead researcher, it must be at least 24 months, remaining from the date of the project commences. That means they have at least 2 years before they retire, if they want to be the lead researcher. The lead researcher must also be a Malaysian citizen. The researchers must have expertise, skills, or knowledge in the project that they applied for. They must send in their resume to ensure that they have that kind of expertise and skills and knowledge. The lead researcher is not on a study leave or sabbatical or continuing study or is doing industrial training, or its equivalent. Sometimes researchers can also go for industrial training, to gain more current experience. So if they are in such situation, they cannot apply to be the lead researcher. Researchers may only lead one project or be a member of one project at a time. So at one time, they can only participate in one project. In other words, a special application must be made to MOHE for the approval of the PPRN Technical Evaluation Committee if the researcher wishes to lead or be a member of more than one project at a time. So maybe if the current project is towards the finishing stage, maybe the technical committee can perhaps consider and provide the consent. So this is on case-by-case basis. Also, the researchers who lead or are members of a project that is still in implementation are not allowed to apply for a new project. This is explaining the earlier statement. So until the project status later is issued by MOHE, that means the project is completed, then only you can apply for another project. The researcher does not have any conflict of interest in the company. That means the company is not led by someone who is related to the researcher. Perhaps the husband's company. So you cannot be the researcher that solve the company problems, and the company belongs to the husband. So that cannot be the case, because then you will have some conflict of interest. So you must you could be an acquaintance, somebody from the company, but the company does not have any personal interest in you, or you do not have any personal interest with the company. So that is what it means by not having any conflict of interest. Okay, the researchers must not have been blacklisted before, and then if we found that you are blacklisted, that means you cannot apply for PPRN projects until the suspension period ends. This normally due to certain projects that have not completed, so that could also result in the researchers being blacklisted. Or there are problems between the companies and the researchers. Okay, so this is the application process. the application process starts with the companies and the researchers. Probably they know each other, or they identify certain researchers or companies that they want to work with. So they form a collaboration, and then they try to solve the industry problems. So they come up with proposed solutions. So when they have come to a consensus on what they want to work with, they can both apply and register and apply to PPRN through a system. We have already launched a system. So now this year we have started using that online application. I will show the link afterwards. So you apply through the project management center at the higher education institutions or the public research institutes. So there will be the person in charge who will process your application. And then after the initial process carried out by the higher education institutions and public research institutes, the application will be further processed by the PPRN Secretariat. So and then after the initial process by the PPRN Secretariat, it will be further evaluated by a group of panelists. And then upon passing the first phase of the evaluation, the company and the researchers will be invited to present their project to another group of panelists. Normally we either invite you to go to come to the Ministry of Higher Education, or you can also present online. Luckily with COVID-19, we are now very well versed with online platform. So we could also consider listening to your presentation through online platforms. Okay, and then after that, the fifth stage of the application process is that those projects that are being recommended by the technical evaluation committee, they will be brought further to the another committee, which is the PPRN Grant Management Committee, which is chaired by the Secretary General himself. And then when they find that this is a very good project, they will endorse it. So after that, both the higher education institutions or public research institutes will be given a notification letter that the projects have been endorsed, and the payment for the 20% of the contribution shall be made by the company. The payment will be made to the project management center at the higher education institutions and public research institutes. In order to formalize the collaboration, the memorandum of agreement of a contract will be signed between signed by the not only the higher education institutions and the public research institute, but must also be signed by the company. Sorry, there is misleading information there. Both companies and the higher education institutions and public research institute, they have to sign the memorandum of agreement. Of course, while developing and preparing the agreement and contract, they have to have several meetings in order to discuss perhaps over the issues of intellectual properties, and then whatever contributions, maybe extra contributions, outside of the proposal, can also be stated in the contract, and then after that, only the offer letter will be issued by the Ministry of Higher Education, and then after that, the the next phase will be the grants will be disbursed to the higher education institutions and public research institutes, and finally the project can start. All right. Okay, I think I've come to almost the end part of the presentation. You can also get further information from our portal, from the ministry's website. You can also download the guidelines for PPRN 2.0 and study the information there. What I've just presented will be part of the guidelines. You can also keep up to date and find out the latest information through our Facebook. And then you can also, if you are interested to participate in and apply for a project, you can also apply through our online system. Yeah. Okay, that's all from me. If there are any questions, I'm welcome you to ask any questions. Thank you.
Terima kasih Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah. So now we open the floor for any question. Dipersilakan para hadirin di dalam Dewan untuk bertanyakan sebarang soalan kepada Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah yang sedang berada dalam talian bersama kita sekarang.
If you have any further questions that you would like to ask personally, you can also email to our secretariat. We also have our representatives from the secretariat at the site right now, Zainal and Yasmin Amira. They can also help you with some questions if you have. I'm not so sure where they are, but they are there right now. Thank you, Zainal and Yasmin.
Baik, Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah, kita ada soalan daripada penonton dalam talian. Okey, yang pertama ya. Apakah skala profit terbaik sesebuah syarikat untuk bekerjasama dengan IPT atau dengan PRI daripada FB Live? Soalan daripada FB Live.
They must have, I think, a sales turnover of RM 100,000 a year. Does that answer the question?
Ya, Doktor.
Okay.
Dan lagi satu. Okey, adakah produk hasil daripada PPRN ini boleh dikomersialkan di luar negara? Soalan daripada YouTube.
Boleh. Tak ada masalah lah. As long as sebenarnya after the project is completed, then they have to show us that there is an increase in productivity. So benda tu berikut lah, ada borang, nak kena isi berapa proof of increase in productivity, some information like that. We require the companies to submit to us at the end of the project.
Okey, dan kita teruskan dengan soalan terakhir daripada soalan dalam talian. Apakah peluang untuk persatuan atau kelab keusahawanan IPT menjadi sebahagian daripada projek PPRN?
Thank you. Baru-baru ni kita ada buat satu bengkel lah. Kita cuba mendapatkan input daripada persatuan, pertubuhan dan koperasi yang kita rasakan mungkin boleh mendapat benefit ataupun manfaat daripada projek PPRN. Bila contohnya satu syarikat ni dalam persatuan yang sama, mungkin dia punya solusi atau penyelesaian kepada permasalahan tu mungkin adalah sama dengan syarikat lain yang berada dalam persatuan yang sama. So kita sedang membangunkan satu garis panduan khas untuk persatuan pertubuhan dan koperasi supaya syarikat-syarikat yang bernaung di bawah certain pertubuhan dan persatuan atau koperasi ini boleh juga memohon grant PPRN. Thank you for your interest.
Terima kasih, Doktor. Ada soalan daripada para hadirin kita di dalam Dewan? Okay, jika tiada, kita mengalu-alukan sebarang persoalan ataupun perkara yang ingin diajukan kepada pihak PPRN kepada alamat email yang telah dimaklumkan di awal sesi tadi ya. Jadi majlis mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih di atas taklimat yang telah disampaikan oleh Dr. Wan Nur Aisyah. Jadi semoga ianya bermanfaat dan memberikan maklumat lengkap kepada semua yang berminat untuk menyertai PPRN.
Thank you.
Sesi seterusnya akan bermula pada jam 11 pagi di mana kita akan bersama untuk sesi forum yang bertajuk PPRN Success Stories from Industries and Researchers yang akan dihoskan oleh Profesor Madya Dr. Ivy Chung.
untuk anak. Kau ni aku 5 tahun sikit. Dia aku tengah baca.
Seterusnya, majlis diteruskan dengan sesi forum yang bertajuk PPRN Success Stories from Industries and Researchers yang akan dibincangkan oleh Profesor Madya Dr. Ivy Chung sebagai moderator kita pagi ini yang merupakan pengarah University of Malaya Centre of Innovation and Enterprise UMCIE. Panel kita pada pagi ini adalah Dr. Muhammad Imran Mustafa bin Abdul Kudus daripada Universiti Malaya kerjasama dengan pihak industri bersama Encik Muhammad Syukri Rosli, pengerusi Akademi Jawi Malaysia Sendirian Berhad dengan projek yang bertajuk Development of a Machine Learning Enhanced Expert System for Classical Jawi Rumi Transliteration. Panel kita yang seterusnya merupakan Profesor Madya TS Dr. Sandresen Perumal daripada Universiti Sains Islam Malaysia bekerjasama dengan pihak industri yang diwakilkan oleh Puan Nur Mawarni Nordin, Managing Director daripada NFA Technologies Sendirian Berhad dengan projek yang bertajuk Miss Resource Planning Analytics System (RPS). Dan seterusnya, panel kita merupakan Dr. Nur Aiman bin Sukindar daripada Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia dan bekerjasama dengan wakil daripada industri pada hari ini, Muhammad Adil bin Datuk Dr. Abdul Wahab, Chief Operating Officer COO daripada Organic Gain Sendirian Berhad dengan projek yang bertajuk Design and Development of New Food Holder for Food Packaging using 3D Printing Technology. Sesi diserahkan kepada Dr. Ivy. Dipersilakan.
Thank you very much, Puan Chairman. Terima kasih. And good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us and stay with us for this program. I think I'll make this a very informal sharing session because I think most of you here in the on the site as well as on the screen, you want to hear from the actual researcher industry partnership, successful partnership, the recent years. Now, although it's done in 2020, 2021, they still managed to come together and work on their PPRN projects. So it's really a privilege for me to moderate this forum, and it's my great pleasure to welcome all three pairs from different universities, from UM, from UIA, and from USIM. And their background is, the business nature is quite different. So I think this will give a broad range of inspiration for all the researchers out there to see how you can contribute and participate in PPRN projects as well. So so my name is Ivy Chong. I'm the director of Center of Innovation Enterprise from Universiti Malaya. That's why we handle technology transfers, and this is one of the projects that we manage and assist as well. Now, so I think you have heard from our from KPT that the overall goal, objective of PPRN, right, is also really for us as academic to have opportunity to use our expertise, try to apply our knowledge into a real life application, industry problems, solving industrial problems. Now, when we say solving industrial problems, it's really like very serious, right? But in actuality, a lot of times you wouldn't know whether you can really contribute until you talk to them, until you know what the industry wants. I think that's where the first start of PPRN is to start talking, start engaging. Once you know better about the problems, then you will know how to position yourself, how to create a team to solve the industry problem. And here, so all I will do is I will go through the list, right, by my panel from my left, so that they can introduce a bit of their projects before I go into general discussion about their experience in application, experience in defending the project when being at the KPT level, and also the experience completing the project until successful. So I think this is a very rare opportunity for us to hear directly from them. So it's open for any questions. You can put your questions online. We will put all the questions at the end of the forum. And of course, at the end of the forum, you're welcome to come to the mic for those present today in the hall to ask your direct questions. All right, so without further ado, I would like to start with the first project. That will be from Dr. Sundaresan. Yes, Dr. Sundaresan. Let me introduce a bit, right? Dr. Sundaresan Peruma is a senior lecturer at USIM, University of Science Islam Malaysia. He received his PhD in computer science from also from USIM in 2012. He has obtained his technology specialist in 2018 and was awarded the Malaysian Board of Technologies. So he's really involved in a lot of software developments, and I think this is also how you contribute to the PPRN project. Yeah. Great. Next, I also want to introduce his partner from Miss Natural Oral Care. Yeah, at FA Technologies in Berhad. Founder. Yeah, founder Puan Nomawani Nordin. Thank you very much for having your booth here as well. You see the one with the toothbrush and toothpaste. That is her booth. So a very, very innovative companies. So so she has been working with a lot of business-related jobs. Banyak clients untuk Maybank, CIMB. So you have quite a clientele in your business. That's very good. And thank you so much for joining PPRN as well. Thank you. So with that, maybe let's see what is their project, right? Can I have the slide for this project, please, Secretariat? You must know what they're doing, right? Secretariat, do you have a slide for this project for Dr. Surendran? Yes. All right. So with that, maybe I can ask, Puan, is your product, right? Can you give us a very quick overview? What is this product about? How does this product come into your business alignment? How do you come to this project? Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. Okay, actually we are from NFA Technologies Berhad. We are producing natural oral care. The day that I met Mr. Sunes from USIM, we are searching for technology in terms of analytic system, whereby we are doing distribution for our oral care products, and we wanted to have some system, a system that we can use to monitor all the shops and the zone. We put it as a zone, and also the inventory of the products itself. So when we managed to get in touch with USIM, we started to collaborate in sense of getting the system ready. And with the help of course, PPRN, we managed to come up with a system which is actually that can be integrated towards our project, which our daily routine, where we can use it towards in terms of distribution. So that is where the system comes, and as for now, we are using it. Before this, we use Microsoft Excel. So when we started to have this system, it's easier for us to add in all the shops, because we have like about nearly 1,000, almost 1,000 over shops, that it's quite hard to monitor, by the way. So by using the system, it's easy for us to ensure to check for the inventory and also all our clientele.
Wow, 1,000 shops. That's a huge contribution there. You can manage 1,000 shops. But Puan, may I ask, is this your first time working with academic?
Actually, it's this project is actually the second one. We already done about nearly 3 projects with research institute and university as well. So we're quite familiar, because the first one what we did is actually to collaborate with our collaborator is actually Cocoa Board of Malaysia, which is actually we're producing natural oral care by using extraction from cocoa. And of course, the second one would be the system, and the third one is actually we engage with UIA for our mouthwash. So we have 3 actually projects that we've been doing for, including for PPRN as well.
Wow, seems you really a fan of our local academics to solve your industry problems.
Yes.
So, so you're pretty confident with our expertise, I can assume that?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
I believe that we have a lot of research that not yet being commercialized, and they are very potential, because what we have to do is actually, as a industry, we need to really get in touch with the research institute and also university to ensure that this type of technology or this type of products that can be commercialized, make it in the market. Otherwise, it's just going to be just only a research. So that's the most important thing, where the industry needs to come in.
That's very noble kind of intention. But what does it do to your company per se, your business per se? Does it really have an impact, right, on 1,000 shop monitoring? But how does it cut any cost? What does it actual impact to your business?
The impact is actually in terms of time, it's time sufficient. It's easy for us to ensure that everything is lined up, and also it also helps us a lot in the sense of to ensure all the inventories are in. Otherwise, it's jumbled out, because every single documentation that we have, because every single shops that we have, we need to have come up with the invoice, we need to come up with the receipt. So every single zoning that we have, because we have about nearly, I think if I'm not mistaken, about 20 zone, which every zone we have about nearly 20 shops. So we have to monitor every single zoning. So from there, we already have all the list of the shops. When we check in the system, once we enter, we can check all the list of the shops and also the products that we already sent. Okay. So easy for us to use that.
Easy for you.
Yeah.
So it's no-brainer.
Yeah.
Go to the university, find an expert who can deliver
Correct.
the solution for you.
Okay.
All right, can we pass the mic to your partner, Doctor? I want to hear from him again, right? So, is this your first experience working in industry?
This is not to be our first experience, because we've been working with a couple of partners and all that. And this is, I would say, we've been involved in industry for quite some time in USIM back there. So this is part of partial of what we are doing in our daily business, you see.
So very comfortable working with industry, talking
Yeah.
to industry partners.
Exactly.
In this project, you found the company or the company found you? How does it work? Where does it, how does it start?
Actually, it started like this, where we went for an exhibition. So we've been exhibiting one of our product actually. So coincidentally, they look at our product and they started to discuss further on the products. So we started to indirectly, without any intention of solving their problem, but we do give them some solutions. So from there where it started to kick off, because we were looking for some starting point. Eventually we know they are a startup company. And I think one more thing, it's totally a woman empowered company, you know. So it's a woman startup company. We're very interested in USIM plays an important role when look at these kind of things. So eventually we never proposed that you need to come up with this much of money or what. We said that let's work together to find a way how we could fund the project to ease their problem. So that was the time where comes this PPRN into this. So yeah, of course, I would like to thank PPRN for giving the opportunities for the young startup companies especially, and also giving a very big opportunity for the universities to involve with the industry especially, you know. So that's how we started actually.
Oh, wow. So it seems like a very rewarding experience for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think, do you want to, is any highlight you from your experience working in this project specifically? Anything you want to tell the audience about engagement industry, or even software kind of development as a solution, providing this kind of solution to the company? Because I suppose this kind of problems is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Among the startups or SMEs.
One of the advantage element that I would say from the system is actually even we won't portray ourselves to be one of the best in the market, but we did, because we are from the university. Eventually, we are not the industry outside there who are solving the problem. So anything, when it comes to the university, the first thing we start is we do a deep dive down analysis that how we could solve the problem. I'm not saying what currently the solution provider outside there it's not doing, but when it comes to university, with our experience, the first thing we touch is we try to conduct a thorough research in how to minimize their cost and improve the solution. So one of the part that I would like to touch on the software is they have this problem when it comes to a drivers, where driver need to go to location A, then need to go to location B, then to location C to deliver things. So what happened is our analytical system could be able to calculate the route. If you go to A, then you should go to B, not instead of going from A to C, C to B. So the driver no need to decide. For an example, he need to go to location A, then he can go to location B. So the system will calculate the route and all that. So it eventually calculates how much petrol you need to use and all this. So it is shortened the driving period, you know. So the driver cannot say, oh, the road was jam and all that, because the Google map is calculating for you. You know? So things like that is
very
quite
high
good.
tech. It's like a UPS in the US, in the States.
Yeah, exactly. So eventually you can track your drivers, you know. So your drivers can't be telling that, you know, oh, I stuck in jam, and he'll be doing his own delivery things. So over here, we really track everything in the system.
Awesome. So can I ask a rather academic level question? These kind of systems or kind of tools, solutions, they are available on the shelf, right? Provided by very well-known companies with good track records, with good brands. How do you see yourself comparing your expertise compared to theirs, providing to a real-life companies, although it's local, although it's startup, but doesn't matter, it's real business, real money involved. So how do you see yourself?
See, one thing we need to understand here is, every time when we see on-shelf softwares, we think that, you know, oh, on-shelf, you know, you can just buy and use it. I would say whatever they have is a very standard module. You may purchase, you may install it in your company, but it will, I would say that we worked with a lot of softwares. When it comes to company A, they have their own requirement. When it goes to company B, they have a different requirement. So eventually, you can say the software may cost 10,000 ringgit, it's very cheap. But after 2-3 weeks you started to use, you may find that, hey, this option is missing, I need to have it. So when you want to obtain that, that is another cost for you. So eventually you're going to spend more than what you're expecting, on the shelf.
Can I pass the last question to Puan? For feeding back on that, right? So you as a consumer, you can participate PPRN, or you also invested right into the project. Get Dr. Suresan to work the project for you, get the solution. It's a on the faith, right? Tak tahu jadi ke tak jadi, betul tak? It's R&D. Versus go to a branded solution, get from the shelf and put into your business. So reflecting back, what made you decide that? What made you decide, let's go take the faith road, take a partner, let's try this, customize, I want my own version. Versus kan, kalau kata senang lah, 10K beli from shelf, semua customer service semua ada, right? Management, QC semua ada. So as a business owner, what makes you make your decision? Like what is a factor you would be thinking?
As I said before, I've already experienced doing collaboration with the research institute and university. So for me, when I met Doctor, because we already clicked the first time we met. So when we discussed about the things that we want, and that time I really needed the system to be implemented. So we were searching, of course, we got, and definitely this system actually is very expensive. But when Doctor mentioned that, okay, why not we just started to do this based on what we want. So of course, I just like, I discussed with my partners and my team, and I say, why not, we just try, that's how it started. So as for me, of course, there is, we can buy it from the shelf, but yet again, not everything that you request, it will be there for you. Certain things, I've checked a few softwares, there is certain things that is not there. So we wanted to somehow, to make it ourselves, the ones that we wanted, exactly things that we wanted. So somehow, Doctor delivers for that. And we're happy for it. But again, of course, I did mention to Doctor, I need more. I need more, I say like this. And of course, he say, okay, then goes to the budget, of course. So of course, I wish that we could, how to say, we can add value for it. And for example, if like PPRN could assist us on this also, it would be great. Because not only once we already fully used, and also we added value for this system, we can even promote it to other companies, other of my colleagues and everything. Everyone wants it, with a reasonable price and actually locally made. That which is actually good, and we should be proud of it.
Truly a businesswoman with the solution, trying to make business out of it, right? Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. I think no wonder PPT said this is one of the successful projects. Very, I find it's very rewarding. Can see it really touch your business, impact your business. Thank you so much. All right, you can relax now. Let's move on to the next couple. Well, how to say couple? Well, next couple, academic and industry couple. What I'm trying to say. So, who we have here? We have, let's say, let's talk about the doctor from the industry first, right? Dr. Mr. Muhammad Adil, from COO of Organic Gains Sdn Bhd, and his academic partner is Dr. Nur Aiman Sukindar from UIA. Actually Gombak campus, engineering. So they are working on this 3D printing technology, food holding. Okay, maybe enough from me. I will get our Encik Adil to talk a little bit about your business, your company, what you are doing, and a slight experience about how you started this project with Dr. Aiman.
Sorry, I cannot get the question.
Can you tell us about your company?
Thank you, Dr. Ivy, for inviting me and Dr. Aiman to this PPRM showcase program. First of all, my name is Muhammad Adi bin Abdul Wahab. I'm the COO of the Organic Gain Sdn Bhd. Our company is actually a manufacturer of retort packed food, which have a long shelf life, and we are exporter to Middle East countries. During these challenging events, this food has become a very big contributor to the local industry and as well as global economy.
Okay, so you're manufacturing packaging the food?
Yes.
Okay, so in the poster it says you currently have 2 sets of food holders, so you need more. So what makes you think you can get your solution to your problem from university? How does it start?
Okay, during the manufacturing of our food, we used to produce only 2 sets of product packaging due to the demand, huge demand on the market during the days. We started doing the food industry is during 2012 up until now. The biggest market demand for this product mode is 1 kg for the food service sector, and also the 200 gram for this retail business, retail and consumer products. However, coming to this pandemic and also coming to the increase of online business, they actually the business has become very customized and business has become very consumer driven. So in order for us to catch the development on the market, we need to have the ability to be able to customize product to the consumers. So thus we develop our other product modes such as 100 gram, 500 gram, 700 gram. So with that, and we also understand that the solution can be provided only using 3D printing. It is a very fast and cheap solution, and also we have the ability to customize. So that's why I contacted Dr. Aiman from IUM. Used to be my also currently my best friend, and we develop this product mode, and alhamdulillah now we are able to meet the consumer demand.
Hello? Okay, yeah. So you knew Dr. Aiman before the project, is it? As a friend. So it's good to have academics as friends, huh? You can throw your problems to them during tea time.
Yes, ask him to become the brain of the project.
That's the keywords. I don't know, industry out there on the screen or on site. Yeah, it's good to have brilliant friends around that you can say, just trash your problems, see what they're picking up, what kind of advice they can give. So these are very, very good examples of leveraging your network, right, to address business problems. And I think your response to the change of demand is very timely, right? You identify which technology to use. You get to know someone who has the expertise to do a prototype for you. So how do you position yourself to be in that ecosystem? Do you often mix around with academics? Do you join universities events? How do you make sure you get to the so-called the most advanced information about the industry?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ivy. It's a very good question. So actually, we started last 4 years because we are the small and medium enterprise. going to become a medium enterprise, we understand that we could not only focus on the profitability. We must also focus on our strength and technology. So that's why we started approach this Malaysian Technology Development Corporation, and we become one of the halal fund recipient during the days. So understanding our roots coming from the technology, we imported the technology from Thailand University. So this is where we started doing the collaboration with university. And then the Thailand people, they give us some advice that we also must do the development with this local university. So that's where I started to approach universities, give talks and try to inspire students. So this is where my footing started. And now I'm also one of the speakers in Halal Jakim board in Unicel, involving in a few projects. And from there, we gain a lot of benefits and started to network again with Dr. Aiman and looking into the possibilities. And also right now, we are also developing, regardless of PPRN or not, we also develop a lot of projects together. So this is a very important step from industry actually, to gain a lot of knowledge from university and also to focus so that the research can become commercial and that commercial can be applied to the industry and it become world changing the business.
Very passionate business person I can get from you, you know, and your vision is beyond the business itself. Really, you are going back to the campus. You're trying to engage, and I think that the benefit you get is really genuine, and I really wish all the best in your development. I think your company will do very well with the coming new technologies. You have Dr. Aiman around, and you have a lot more researchers for you to engage and collaborate with. Can I pass the mic to Dr. Aiman? Dr. Aiman is how no, I saw your booth.
Yeah.
You have a lot of industry partners also.
Yeah.
So you're very comfortable solicitor with the industry. What's your take about collaborating with industry as part of your research agenda in the university?
Alright, thank you so much, Dr. Ivy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to all of you. I think this is the first time that I have, attended a physical event, and yeah, I think almost 2 years we have only online event. So indeed, it's a great honor to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me. Well, going back to the question, this is my first time actually doing a project with the industry with Organic Gain Sinar Berhad. Well, I can say this is the first time because I involved directly from the beginning until the end, and we successfully deliver to the company, which is actually PPRN. You make everyone happy. Yeah, you make everyone happy. You make the company or the industry happy. As a researcher, of course, you gain a lot of things. And of course, institution that you are represent to, and of course from the Kementerian. This is actually one of the objectives from the Kementerian, that we want to bring the closer between the academia as well as the industry. Yeah, we sharing the knowledge, we apply the knowledge to the industry. And I can see that the project industry this is where you can apply the knowledge. Yeah, we doing, as a researcher, you're doing a lot of research. But for me, I'm not stopped there as a research. So I'm going to apply what we already learned, to the industry. We solve the problem facing by the company. And the good thing is that, as I mentioned, you make everyone happy. You make the company or industry happy. Why? You can reduce the cost, you can increase your productivity. As a researcher, I believe a lot of you is a lecturer researcher, you know that as a researcher, you gain a lot of things from the PPRN grant. You can have, you make, as I mentioned, you can have, of course, from the grant, you can have published paper, everything, copyright, everything. It's like a complete package of the grant. Yeah, you can have everything. So that's why I think the collaboration industry and the university through the PPRN grant is a very good. I think it is a very unique grant. And I think this is a very good initiative from the Kementerian to offer this kind of grant, PPRN grant.
Right. Matching grant. You mentioned a little bit the copyright. It really triggered me lah. Copyright. So would you? I think a lot of people out there also always worry, right? Once collaboration, if both sides okay, no problem. But you're talking about IP, intellectual properties, copyrights. That's when maybe some hiccups there. So in your project, is there a copyright involved between you and the industry partner?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the most important thing actually in the PPRN grant is the mutual understanding between you and the company. This is the most important thing. So that's why we start a discussion and then to agree some of the terms. Yeah, for example, it's 50-50 or 70-30. So those are the things that you have to have a mutual understanding between you and the industry. Then going back to the copyright, for example, if you have a discussion with agreement of 50-50, then 50% going to the company, 50% going to the university. Of course, it's not going to you, but to the university. So those are the things that you have to consider first. Yeah? At the first stage, yeah, mutual understanding is, I think, the most important part. Yeah, between you and the company or in the industry.
So having the industry partner also a friend, it's easy to get into that talk thing, right? Over tea, over lunch.
That make it the life a bit easier.
A bit easier. Have you have similar experience with other industry in terms of IP talks? No, how do you manage that?
Yeah, actually, sorry.
How do you manage IP negotiations with other industries?
Well, previously, yeah, I have a few projects with the industry, but as I mentioned, this is the first, the first time under the PRN grant I collaborate, and go directly involved from the beginning until the end. But the other one is, because it's not involved the IP, so the IP is basically going back to the university, then the company doesn't bother the IP, so yeah, there's not much on the IP. So this is actually the first time that we have a mutual understanding on the copyright and so on.
You seems to really enjoy being a PPRN awardee, right?
Exactly. I'm saying that I'm not. We just have a small amount of money. I'm not saying that the money is not important for the project, but I just we just have a small amount of money, but the impact, the outcome from the project, I think it was a priceless experience. I'm going through a lot of things. Believe me, as a researcher, you will get the most satisfying in your life when you finish the project. You have a very short time, 6 months only. Yeah, during my time, it's basically 2020. At that time, we are facing a pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. And then the KPT Kementerian is extended 3 months. So plus minus is 9 months. We have 9 months for the project. So imagine it's quite a stressful, but at the end, you will feel very relieved. And you will satisfy. You gain a lot of things. Industrial experience, you solve the industrial problems. You make everyone happy. As I mentioned, a lot of party involved. Everyone is happy. If your project is successful, the keyword is if your project is successful, you make everyone happy. If not, then you have to bear the consequences, of course. A lot of people, industry, you yourself, the institution as well, and then the community and the ministry as well. So those are the things.
Yeah, thank you so much for your sharing. I think every interactions, every engagement, there is a risk. But I think it's a risk worth taken. The more you do, the more you engage with industry, the more you can control the situation. And I think also the more comfortable you can become to initiate and into the so-called the hard talks, the difficult kind of communication, discussions. But it's all can be done because we're all human and we all want the same thing, right? Just that we complement each other. One wants solution, one wants to provide solution. Thank you very much, Dr. Aiman. Thank you for your sharing. So let's move on to the last academic and industry partner from UM, right? I think I will introduce our industry partner first. We have the Sukri, right? Sukri. You give your CV in Bahasa Melayu. Can I read in Bahasa Melayu? to translate on the side is a bit tough. So you have your bachelor degree in petroleum geoscience. Yes, from Adelaide. And after that, you have been involved in a lot of publishing kind of industries. A lot of books and translational work, has been research editor in Al-Amin Surf Holdings, quite a bit of experience, industry experience in the publishing domain. So you're under the Wacana Pandangan Alam Islam WISE program, and it's the first student intake.
Yes.
Oh, I am not very familiar with that. Maybe you can explain a bit more on that before you continue studies in Pusat Pengajian Tinggi Islam, Sains dan Peradaban. Alright, so you are in the printing or translation publishing industries, right? So this is a also another very niche projects that I find very interesting to share. It's not our regular like manufacturing, not the software, but a bit different. But the solution is very, very interesting. So maybe I'll get Auntie Shukri to tell a bit about your company, about your business, and maybe you can start a bit of your problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ivy. I would like to continue my presentation in Malay if you allow me. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nama saya Muhammad Syukri bin Rosli. I am the chairman of Akademi Jawi Malaysia, pengerusi Akademi Jawi Malaysia. Secara asasnya, Akademi Jawi Malaysia ni bertolak daripada visi dan misi berikut. Visi Akademi Jawi Malaysia ialah untuk menjadi pusat ilmu, pusat keilmuan yang diiktirafi di peringkat kebangsaan, serantau dan juga antarabangsa. We are aiming to be a acknowledged intellectual body, private intellectual body, acknowledged in this country, in this region and globally as well. Jadi daripada situ kita bertindak kepada 3 misi yang utama, iaitu untuk menjadi penggerak kepada budaya ilmu, kedua menjadi penggerak kepada budaya bahasa Jawi, dan yang ketiga untuk menjadi penggerak kepada ekosistem perbukuan. We will lead into these 3 missions. One is to be the champion of the knowledge culture. Second is to be the champion and the leader for the Jawi intellectual tradition. And third is to initiate and to move the book printing ecosystem. So pada kita menggerakkan visi dan misi ini, Dr. Ivy, kita menemui satu masalah yang utama, iaitu bagaimana kita nak memanfaatkan teknologi bagi pembangunan budaya dan juga menghidupkan tradisi yang terdapat di negara kita. Jadi salah satu budaya penting yang terdapat di negara kita ialah tradisi keilmuan Jawi, Jawi Intellectual Heritage, iaitu penggeraknya ataupun yang menghidupkan budaya ni. Kita tahu mereka ni adalah orang yang sama ada dalam aliran agama ataupun orang yang tidak terdedah dengan teknologi ataupun tidak terlibat dalam dunia akademik, ataupun kalau yang terlibat dalam dunia akademik pun mereka tidak terbiasa menghidupkan budaya Jawi ni dalam bentuk yang swasta, dalam bentuk yang independen, dalam bentuk bebas. Jadi kita dapati penyelesaian yang boleh kita lakukan ialah dengan kita menghubungkan antara budaya ini dengan kemahiran teknologi. Dan seperti yang kita tahu, perhubungan tu boleh berlaku apabila kita kenal pasti betul-betul kekuatan teknologi dan juga kekuatan budaya itu masing-masing. Dalam hal ni kita tengok penghubung antara budaya dan teknologi itu ialah manusia itulah. The person, the man, the thinking person, the cultured person. Orang yang berbudaya, orang yang tahu tentang teknologi ni, dia mampu untuk menghasilkan produk yang lebih baik. Kita di Akademi Jawi Malaysia, perniagaan kita yang utama ialah penerbitan buku. Dan penerbitan yang kita hasilkan ialah berdasarkan daripada kandungan ataupun konten daripada tradisi keilmuan bahasa Jawi itu. Jadi untuk menghasilkan buku yang boleh dibaca pada zaman kini, dia memerlukan manual labor, dia memerlukan kepakaran manusia. Jadi saya berbincang dengan Dr. Imran, sahabat lama saya semenjak 10 tahun dulu yang saya kenal dalam seminar wacana pandangan alam Islam itu. Jadi daripada situ dia kata, why not kita transfer the knowledge to the computer. So we ask the computer to do the work. to do the transliteration of the Jawi language into the modern Malay script, which is Romanized Malay. So that's how we work. And then after that, melalui geran PRPN ni, kita dapat kemudahan itu dan kita bangunkan sistem itu. Kalau boleh dikatakan sebelum kita ada sistem ini, mungkin 100% kerja membuat kerja penerbitan tu, perumian, penyuntingan dan reka bentuk tu perlu 100% tenaga manusia. Kini dengan sistem yang ada tu, dia mengurangkan keperluan tenaga manusia itu kepada mungkin 70% sahaja. Dia telah menjimatkan masa, meningkatkan produktiviti dan menghasilkan produk yang lebih baik. Itu yang peringkat yang pertama. Tetapi apa yang kita discover, apa yang kita temukan dalam pengkajian dan penyelidikan kita ini ialah teknologi itu rupanya dia boleh berfungsi dan juga boleh berkemampuan untuk menjadi preserver kepada intellectual culture tu. Macam kalau kita nak menulis Jawi ataupun nak menulis sesuatu, sistem kita ni boleh menggantikan tugas manusia tu. Jadi ilmu ataupun kemahiran mengenai bahasa Jawi tu kita boleh transfer kepada komputer dan secara tidak langsung dia menyelamatkan dan mempertahankan budaya tu. Itu yang saya nampak daripada kajian ini.
Oh, thank you so much. Is this the first ever solution or system for this Jawi literacy? Have you seen this elsewhere?
Kalau untuk Jawi secara khusus, ya betul. Dia ialah satu breakthrough yang utama dalam usaha kita untuk menjaga budaya menggunakan teknologi. Sebelum ni kalau kita kata nak memelihara budaya, kita kena train, kita kena buat latihan, kita kena buat bengkel apa semua, tak. Sekarang kita cuba bangunkan satu teknologi untuk menjaga budaya itulah. Tapi untuk bahasa-bahasa yang lain ataupun budaya-budaya lain mungkin ada. Yang untuk bahasa Cina, bahasa Jepun, saya pernah terlibat dengan projek tu sebelum ni. Dan saya tengok mereka telah berjaya menjaga budaya dan juga khazanah persuratan mereka masing-masing dalam bahasa mereka masing-masing lah. Tapi untuk Jawi secara khusus, ini ialah kali pertama. Terima kasih.
Yeah, thank you. Very meaningful. And I think, can you tell us maybe you can pass to Dr. Imran. Dr. Imran is a lecturer in UM, Department of Physics. Dr. Imran, I want to ask, your experience involving this project, the so-called output from PPRN itself is just a beginning, right? The first stage or whatever you call that. So how do you see this kind of development pursue in the future? What kind of level and what's the potential of it to even apply, extend to other part of culture, heritage, preservations, efforts, not just the literacy, but also maybe the storybooks or the stories, the things that we heard from our generation over generations, right? So how do you see this project moving forward?
Hello. Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi. Good morning. Is it? Good afternoon. Yeah. Good morning. Still morning. Anyway, so I think one of the main issues that we normally have with regards to Jawi itself, at least, is there is a bit of a gap between, macam Shukri cakap tadi, between the ability. So what Shukri does is not modern Jawi, it's classical Jawi. And there is a logic to classical Jawi in which if you do not know Malay, it's not possible to read. So because of that, if you know Malay, you are able to read, but then you need to understand the logic behind it. And because there is that bit of a gap, it means that most people generally are not, it's not able to, but it's difficult for most people to do that reading old texts. So there's two parts to the equation. The first part is actually getting the text into something which is computer. So to answer the question, getting the text into something which can be read by the computer. And second part is to change that computer readable text into something that most people are used to. We've in the PPRN project, we've only explicitly done the transliteration part, and we are beginning to do the first part. So the first part, optical character recognition, insofar as if we are able to do that, so there's a large, if you look at like the British Library or all of these big libraries, there've been a large movement to digitalize all of these manuscripts. And the reason you want to do that is to give access to people relatively easily to these manuscripts for them to do research. So I think the project kind of goes on to that line, and we would like to kind of continue that conversion from the manuscript into computer readable text, and then so at least in so far as the trajectory is concerned, we would like to do that. So we would like to continue doing manuscript to computer text, and the computer text to transliteration. We would also like to do the reverse process. So we would like to be able to take a text and then do the Jawi, the traditional Jawi kind of transliteration in some sense back into traditional Jawi. So if you do that, then that in a sense that language becomes a bit more alive, because you can take like newer texts and then transliterate it to Jawi. So these are the kind of ongoing things which we've been doing with Dr. Shahriza from FSKTM. So that's like the path that we're going on.
So you're saying this, even the PPRN project has been completed and finished, so that you are still continuing the project on your own, is it?
Oh yeah. So the PPRN project, I think for us, is just going to be a start to a certain extent. Because again, part of the problem is when we were starting out, we didn't really know how this was going to like complete and what the actual problems are. Because as Shukri said just now, the humanities generally have not made use of technology as much as they could, and so there were not that many kind of examples to look at. Of course, you do have certain things going on, but then there's not that many that is close to us that we can take. So when we were doing this, we see, well, there's this issue that we have to solve, and there's this issue that we have to solve, and so there's multiple issues that still have to be solved in order for the entire thing to work like seamlessly. But you still need like someone to check at every stage. Otherwise, because computers can never be as intelligent as human beings.
Exactly. I think why I think this project is very unique is that it opens up a lot of avenue for our social scientists, lecturers in humanities, disciplines. You can really come into here, whether it's for Jawi or for other kind of social aspect or the humanities subjects that you're doing. There will be some takers at the business lah, at the private side. They are passionate about this, passionate about driving this kind of passions. It may through a company, but who cares, right? Whether public or private, we all work together towards humanities, better humanities. It could be for better well-being, better resource distributions, right? For better food packaging, for health, and also for culture. So I think that's why KPT recommends that among so many, they give a lot of completed projects, but we cannot choose all to share today. So we choose these three, hopefully to give a breadth of ideas. What kind of projects can be done together with academic? They can be done together with industries. So I think we finished the one round. I want to see if there are any questions from the ground to ask. Any questions from the ground? If no, I can continue with some general discussions, open for all panels. Right, so so for the industry partners, I think I can hear that you feel PPRN is very good for your companies, right? That's why you have been very happy with that. But in the process of application, how do you feel? I think most of you, this is a first PPRN. Did you involve a lot in the process itself during the application? Is it first time applying something to a government agencies? Like any steps that you think can be improved? Any steps that you think wow, this is very good. I never know it, government agency can do this for me. So any takers from industry who want to talk about this? Your experience in application. Oh, I don't involve at all. All doings are from my researcher. So any Puan?
Okay, just to add in, I'm lucky to have Dr. Sunis to help me for the application. So most of it he did it, so it's quite easy for me. But again, of course, when it comes to discussion and also to make sure that the system is good. Of course, it takes time for us to have a kind of a lot of things we go through together. So I guess that easy for me on the side of in terms of application for PPRN.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, disagree.
Yes, maybe I can respond a little bit on that. So basically, there's nothing wrong with the application because from my experience, when we go for bigger grant like capex or bigger grants other than maybe commercial grant is higher standard of application. But the most important point that I would like to highlight here is like Puan said, you need to have a mutual understanding and cooperation. But from me, experience with Dr. Aiman is he do all the write-ups, okay? But from industry, it's very important to focus the research because we only have 6 months, and it has to be a very, very effective projects that can deliver the best solution for you now. So before this, we thought that we might to beef up our research, but when we talk again with Dr. Aiman, I said you only have 6 months, and I cannot wait any longer. So let's find a mutual point on that, and we come up with a very, very specific project. But I can tell you the impact is very big for us. So this is the most important thing, to complete the project within 6 months and to deliver the best solution for the industry.
Yes, I think the 6-month thing really quite a challenge even to academic. We are not full-time doing this, right? We are like about so many jobs to do, but yet the commitment shown by the researchers team, shown by the industry side as well, together 6 months. Let's focus, let's get something out of it. So any comments whether should we extend the 6 months or should we, what about the criteria to how do you see PPRN can evolve that it will meet your next needs of industry? You know, PPRN 2.0 now, depending on the company size, they can even offer more. There's quantum of the fund matching lah. But in terms of time, in terms of access, or do you want any wish list that you would like to have from I don't want to say KPT lah, from university that you think can improve your R&D ke? Puan pun boleh, mana-mana siapa pun boleh.
I think for me, I think I have not much very concern about the project timeline because the approach that PPRN take is university have to come to the industry. So basically, from our part, we can give the IP to them a lot because they are the one who develop the blueprint. It's okay. But from our point of view is maybe we need to go for a bigger budget because or we can offer more solution with a smaller budget, but we can do 2 or 3 projects. Because you see, as far as the industry is growing, when we get the solution, it takes time to commercialize. But the solution must be there. For example, I want to deliver a little bit projects to the entrepreneurs. I need to do the sample. So the sample must be commercial ready. So in order to do that, we need a lot of technicalities to be settled, especially on product development. So if we give a bigger project, maybe we need to prolong the timing. But if we can consider the 6-month project, maybe we can give 2 or 3 more solutions so that the impact is higher and it can be given directly to the market.
So you're explaining more, multiple projects
Yes,
ongoing.
whether more projects or
Yes.
higher budget.
Puan, like, yes. You want to feedback on that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I'm actually a startup company, so a lot of costs goes through, especially when it comes to product. FMCG, it costs more towards our marketing. So when we did the system with Doctor, I kind of pity him because they got slashed quite a lot, the budget. So he has a very limited budget on that. So I feel that if it's easier for like the government to understand how difficult it's actually to provide a system. So we have to do a test and error, we have to, a lot of things we have to cover. So I feel that if like, for example, that we could have a continuation, like for example, the first step, okay, this is the one. And of course, we have the second step that we could enhance, as I said before, to enhance in terms of value added. That would be great. It would be great for that.
Wow, that's the tip for you, Doctor. Next cycle, you have to put in application already. All right, so let me move on to our academics, right? This is going, I don't know, those academics on the floor or over on the screen, I don't know whether you have this burning question. I don't have PPRN, but I always think it's so difficult for us academics to understand the industry needs sometimes. The language is different, the expectation is different, time, budget, also expectation of the output, right? How mature is the output? So how do you navigate that kind of conversation to get the understanding when you first talk to your industry partner? Any takers from academics? Dr. Sundran, you have to answer this first.
I mean, my personal advice to most of the academicians is, first of all, when you deal with industry, you need to come out from the shoe, from the lecturer's perspective. You need to be and you need to think like how the industry people thinks. Then only you could understand, because they don't have the mindset. Because we've been lecturing, we've been in research, and when we look at the industry people, we look at them like aliens. You know, hey, why the way he's talking, you know, he looks like, you know, we've been dealing with students and all that. So the way we look at industry is totally different. So that's why some academicians can really blend with the industry. And I can see that some academicians till now, they cannot blend with the industry because they are not in the same par with what we are thinking. So you need to come out from the issue, because academics is different from the industry. But we need to understand that the whatever we are producing outside in the market is actually come from the university. So eventually we are the producers. So we are very near to them actually. It's just a slight way of thinking according to the industry needs. So basically we need to understand the problem. The biggest catch here is you don't understand their problem and you can't solve the problem for them. Eventually they'll be telling you something and you'll be talking from the academic perspective. So you're not going into a real technical solution. So I feel the technical knowledge here will really fix and tap the problem here.
Okay, thank you so much for your sharing. Yeah, Ken, please, Puan, silakan.
Just from based on experience, like for example, for our oral care products, we actually we are one of the nurtured company under MTDC. So it took us I think about 5 research that we went through the whole research, many research institute and university until we managed to collaborate with one of them. Because why? The reason why is actually some of the research products, it's not, how to say, they did the research very well. But when it comes to commercialization, it's not ready. It's not being, it cannot be implemented. So it is sad actually, to be frank, because the ones that we studied about 4 of it, they were like tremendously potential to go beyond commercialization. But however, certain things That's why it's good if like the research the professors the researcher needs to know that if like by the time that they are doing you know the research, it's better to have the industry involved as well. Maybe perhaps just to get in touch with them and know what they exactly they want. Because it's sad, seriously, because I've seen a lot of research which is actually so good, but yet cannot go for commercialization.
Thank you very much for the sharing. Thank you. Yeah, Dr. Imran, you have something to share?
I'd just like to add on to that. So we've done, I mean, I do optoelectronics, which means, you know, I do things like LEDs and lasers and stuff like that when I'm not, you know, doing stuff like what Shukri does. I think that there's different levels. Whenever we talk about industry, there's kind of different levels of research and commercialization that is possible depending on what the specific field is. So if you're a medic, for instance, it might be way closer, but to you know your commercialization path. But if you're doing something like, I don't know, nonlinear optics, which is what I do, then it's actually way off, and getting there is tricky. But I think one of the things that struck me was that the priorities of industry and university generally do not align as well as it should, which means you actually need to gain a lot of trust from industries, and that kind of takes a while. So you need to kind of listen for a long time before they actually tell you what the problem is. Because sometimes it's, you know, sometimes the problem is actually quite easily solved. Like, you know what the solution is going to be. But then they won't really be telling you that unless you've actually, you know, like sat down with them and asked them, you know, what the problem is. And because I think like me and Shukri, we are friends, and Adil and they're friends, right? I mean, generally speaking, it's through these kinds of engagements, as it were. So I guess we were meeting with one of the big corporations, and they were saying, you know, I mean, we can give you small projects, and these small projects are actually quite helpful in building that trust. So just taking these small projects. The problem is that these small projects generally don't give you a lot of output in terms of publications and stuff like that. And so not a lot of academics would want to do that because, you know, like it doesn't benefit them in a very real sense. But if you do not do these sort of small things and then spend time doing these things, then you know how you wouldn't know them. And why would they spend time for your interest, right? You should spend time for what they want to do as well. And maybe at some point, you know, like we aligned our interests at some point. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, unless we listen, like we both want to come to this point, then it's actually quite difficult, because we've had difficulties with industries as well. So we've had difficulties with large companies because they said, okay, we want a product, and we say, well, we have a prototype, right? And then it will take a bit of time, right? So yeah.
Thank you so much for the very genuine, right? Very candid and response. I think it's the sentiments that academics feel all the time. Dr. Aiman, you're very quiet. What do you think? Do you have any feedback to that?
I mean, can you again? I mean, repeat the.
Are you a natural communicator with industry? Are you natural, or do you really try a lot of ways to understand the industry needs?
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ivy. Well, I think collaborating with the industry, I mean, the nature of industry is different. The academic is different. The researcher is different. As mentioned also by Doctor here, that you must go out from your comfort zone. Yeah, you must go out from your comfort zone. You have to go to the industry to see how they are doing, and you going back to the university. This is what you tell to the student, okay? Because you are actually lecturing in the university, telling, you know, teaching a lot of theoretical theory and so on, but then you're not actually aligned with the industry, then it's not going to work. So you, by doing, I mean, PPRN projects, so you know what is actually exactly the problem from the industry and then you're going back to the university, and then we discuss with your groups, and then the student as well. So, and then the student involved directly with the industry. So this is actually a good start for the student, the early exposure for the student. So this is the important, I mean, this is the uniqueness of the PPRN grant. You involve everyone, yeah, a lot of parties. Yeah, not only you and the industry, the student as well get the exposure. This is the real problem from the industry. Yeah, now we're talking a lot of what we call the soft skill, yeah, and then yeah, a lot of things. But this is one of the method, yeah, to as a training ground for the student as well. Yeah, not only for the lecture, of course, yeah, we gain a lot of things. Yeah, but we actually attract the other party, a student as well, yeah, to join the project, yeah, to gain the experience. So as I mentioned, you make everyone happy, yeah, and involve a lot of parties. So yeah, you make everyone happy, all right, as long as your project is successful. Yeah, the keyword as long as your project is successful. Otherwise, then you have to answer a lot of things. Yeah, I think yeah.
Thank you so much. It's happy to hear you're happy. Okay, can I check with Secretary? Any questions from the other? Boleh tayangkan tak question from the social?
Okey, kita dapat beberapa soalan daripada penonton atas talian daripada Facebook dan juga YouTube Universiti Malaya. Okey, yang pertama kita pilih adalah soalan kepada Dr. Muhammad Imran dan juga Akademi Jawi. Do you have any plan to use the Jawi literacy to do research and translate the manuscript or books at Belanda Museum where it stores a lot of our country knowledge during the zaman Kesultanan Melaka?
Sebelum saya jawab soalan tu, before I answer that question, saya nak tunjuk cerita sikit lah situasi semasa kandungan Jawi kita ni lah. Di Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia terdapat lebih kurang 4,000 lebih judul manuskrip Jawi, dan yang dikaji dan diterbitkan mungkin 10 ke 20% sahaja. Itu di Malaysia sahaja. Kita ada Indonesia pula. Kita ada di British Library, British Museum, di Belanda, dan di banyak tempat, termasuk di Rusia pun ada. Kajian yang dibuat oleh penyelidik kita, penerbitan kita semenjak 10 ke 20 tahun dulu, mungkin hanya mencakup lebih kurang 10 ke 20% daripada kandungan manuskrip yang terdapat itu. Jadi bila ditanya soalan itu, ya memang kita berhajat, memang kita bersungguh-sungguh untuk mengkaji, menyelidik dan merumikan serta menerbitkan khazanah tersebut. Tetapi disebabkan masalah kepakaran ataupun tenaga kerja yang tidak cukup tu menjadi satu halangan dan mengambil masa yang panjang. Dan dengan adanya sedikit sebanyak inovasi yang kita cuba lakukan, harapnya baik manuskrip tu di Malaysia ke, di Belanda ke, ataupun di mana-mana tempat dalam dunia, kita boleh tangani dan kita boleh hasilkan dengan lebih cepat, dan daripada situ kita akan dapat manfaat yang lagi besar daripada khazanah itu.
Very well answered.
Okey, jadi kita ada soalan berikutnya. Ini ada dua tapi kita gabungkan ya sebab persoalannya lebih kurang sama. Ini bertanya yang berminat, selepas beberapa kali memohon namun tidak berjaya, bagaimana untuk mengekalkan ataupun keyakinan semangat pihak syarikat, kerana pihak syarikat mengejar masa, geran juga dibuka mengikut tempoh tertentu. Jadi apakah tips yang para panelis boleh berkongsi dengan para pemohon yang berminat, dan apakah poin yang penting yang pemohon harus ambil berat terutamanya pada masa membuat permohonan PPRN?
That's the same. Actually, that's my last question to all the panelists. Thank you so much for the question, whoever sent that. Yes, tips how to get your application successful.
Okay, kalau saya boleh respon, is actually masa kita buat permohonan during our application, we need to really understand the problem and the solution of the project. So there will be a golden question lah when we go to any application, whether be grant ke apa ke, dia akan tanya is what is the uniqueness of your project. So you have to be able to explain in terms of the solution in the industry, of course, it means money, yeah, ataupun it means the diversification of the market. So when you be able to establish your problem, and then it will be easier for you to explain the solution. So and you kena ada punchline lah, kan? You will not get this out of any other universe. Contoh kan. So there will be, then they will understand that this problem. Sebab kadang-kadang kita buat application grant, maybe grant tu ataupun application tu tak specific for that solution, ataupun boleh dapat dekat luar. So it has to be very customized, it has to be very specific to the industry pun the solution. Of course, you have to be together lah, mutual understanding lah between industry and the researcher lah. So masa nak pitching tu, buatlah macam bergaduh sikit. So show that you are serious, insyaAllah boleh dapat.
Oh, that's the reason, is it?
Yeah, one of the thing is, they will focus on the problem. And normally, I thought the evaluator or the panel will ask, the researcher. But at my time, they ask a lot from the industry side. Is it the problem really matter? If we cannot solve, is it okay if it's just a simple problem? If it really matter, then by solving this, you can increase your productivity. Then they will start going to for the budget as well. Yeah. So the problem, you not come to the company and then creating the problem, which is not there. You know, the problem is there. Not you are the one who are going to the company and then I think I want to create a problem here. Why? To apply the PPRN. Then it's not right. So the problem is already there. You go to the company and then you discuss and then you propose a solution. There must be a unique solution. If you can just go outside and then buy the simple solution, and then that's not right. Okay. So those are the things. Yeah. I can say that the main point. Yeah. That you need to tackle. Yeah. For the especially during the what I can say is Viva, the proposal defense. Yeah. The proposal depend. Yeah, of course, you need to have a certain criteria. For example, the company, everything. The SMB. In terms of the certificate, everything. Yeah, that one is you must have that. But once accepted, going for the proposal depend, then that's the thing that you have to focus on. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. For those industries who are thinking to apply PPRN with your partner academia, be ready to show up during the interviews or during the evaluation. Sometimes I feel the evaluators ask the industry more than the academics because they want to make sure the problem is real, that you are serious and it's meaningful for you, because PPRN is mainly for SMEs, really, utilizing our academics forces, intellectuals, to solve industry problems. All right, any more questions? Very good, thank you so much. I think we're just nice on the time, and I don't know whether anyone from the panelists want to have a last word. Anything you think you want to share with our audience today? They have not spoken yet. Ada apa-apa yang nak share lagi? Jom buat PPRN ke? Mr. Happy.
I guess, just to answer that final one, I think there's two things. Number one is that the solution should not be available in the market. And number two is, what is it? Lupa dah. Tapi the solution should not be available in the market, and it's not a made-up problem lah, essentially. And it's doable within that 6 months. I think if you make sure that the solutions, it's a real problem, and you tailor the solution to your problems. Oh yeah, and secondly, they don't care about anything else. The only deliverables that they care about is that it solves the problem. They don't care about the papers and what they fund you, whether or not you want to buy a computer, which, like nowadays we can't buy a computer anymore. There's not that many limitations in terms of the grant. The only thing they care about is whether or not, number one, the problem is real. Number two, the solution actually solves the problem. That's the only thing that they care about.
All right, simple as that. Sounds simple, right? So I think I will want to wrap up in two, to summarize the key points. If you just want to kind of wrap up the whole thing lah. I find that first, get friends. make friends first, whether making friends with industry or industry making friends with academia. I think through friendships, a lot of things can be taught over very easily. And then think about customizations, right? I think PRN is for customized solutions, and bring up your concerns about intellectual properties, about sharing this and that earlier on, so we have the understanding, so that it will really can think about the project in actual reality instead of. No, I think people don't want to bring it out. Bring out early on. I think it's normal. Somebody will appreciate that you bring it up, your concerns. I think I want to quote that again. Everybody will be happy, really. I think really, if you can find a good project, it is really, really meaningful, and the impact is going beyond the ROI. Right? Impact to for academics, impact to your research teams, impact to the universities, and you can bring back a lot more to your practice. And finally, make sure that we must try we must go out there and try. There are really very good tips to get PPRN approved. I think there are 2 tips here. First, make your solution real. So don't go too big, very, very focused, and then tailor your solution towards the problem, and nothing more than that. Very, very very, very niche touch on that. Then I think if you put it that way, get the best industry representative who can talk, who can talk very well, very passionate, very engaging. Bring that person to the interviews during the evaluation. Hopefully, with that, you have all the recipe to convince the panel. And I think people, again, there will be one more round. I don't know. We wait for more news. If there's one more round this year or even next year, definitely. Every year we have PPRN. So we can start talking now. Right? By the time we prepare everything, we can apply. With that, thank you so much for all the panelists again. I'll pass back to our MC.
Terima kasih, Dr. Ivy. Seterusnya kita menjemput pengerusi bersama PPRN 2.0 at UM yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Chai Lei Ching bagi sesi penjampaian cenderamata kepada panel kita pada hari ini. Mempersilakan Ketua Projek Dr. Muhammad Imran Mustafa bin Abdul Kudus daripada Universiti Malaya beserta dengan Encik Muhammad Syukri Rosli, Pengerusi Akademi Jawi Malaysia. Mempersilakan Profesor Madya, Teknologis Dr. Sundresen Perumal daripada Universiti Sains Islam Malaysia beserta Puan Nur Mawarni Nordin, Managing Director NFA Technologies Sendirian Berhad. Seterusnya, kita mempersilakan Dr. Nur Aiman bin Sukindar daripada Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Malaysia beserta Encik Muhammad Adil bin Datuk Dr. Abdul Wahab, Chief Operating Officer COO daripada Organic Gain Sendirian Berhad. Akhir sekali, kita mempersilakan moderator kita pada hari ini yang berusaha Profesor Madya, Dr. Ivy Chung untuk menerima cenderamata yang tidak kurang bersemangat memandu forum kita pada hari ini. Dipersilakan Dr. Ivy. Majlis mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada semua yang terlibat dalam forum sebentar tadi. Dengan berakhirnya forum sebentar tadi, maka program ditangguhkan kepada jam 2.15 petang pada hari ini bagi majlis penutup yang akan dilangsungkan pada jam 3.30 petang. Para tetamu dijemput untuk melawat booth pameran yang disediakan.